Welcome back to Switch to Linux. So today we're just going to do a real quick look at a distro I've looked at in the past, but I wanted to have another look with a community build desktop environment, and that is Manjaro. We're going to look at the community developed Deepin desktop. So considering Manjaro, of course this is a distro that is essentially, it's like an Arch installer. So you know, as Arch has developed over the years, it started out as mostly being a very more advanced Linux system because you pretty much built it up your system from scratch. And then a few things came out like Manjaro, which basically gave you an installer on top of Arch, so you could install it with a desktop environment. Now this is Manjaro is a rolling release. Now the thing about Arch is it always has some of the latest package updates. So one of the potential downsides is if there is a package update that breaks something, it might break in your system. And so we have to keep that in mind. That being said, though, oftentimes you want some of the latest packages. Like even when I started this channel, I could actually not get HD quality video working with the equipment that I had. All I needed to do, though, is upgrade to some of the latest packages, and then everything worked out great. And so frequently you do want to be on the latest packages, and that's where Arch and Manjaro come into play. Now these are a little bit, it takes me a little bit out of my element. I usually stay within the Debian family, and so as far as getting into the terminal, I'd actually need to read up on it. I believe Manjaro has the Pack Manager installed, so I've used that one before. So it's not totally out of there, but if you come over into your downloads, you'll see what the latest Manjaros are. Your official installs are the XFCE, KDE, and GNOME. Then here is a console-based system. Now what you can do is if you come up here to the download and look at the community releases, this is where you can find a lot of different things. So you'd see the Budgie, Cinnamon. This one might be a neat one for me to try out because I just love the Cinnamon desktop. Deepin is the one that we're looking at here today. There's i3, LXDE, LXQT, and Mate. Greetings, everybody. Use Manjaro. It rocks. All right, so the kitty agrees. Use Manjaro. So that's what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and boot up the virtual machine, and then what we're going to do is just kind of walk through it. I played around a little bit with the themes. I didn't really do anything else. As far as the installer is concerned, it is pretty easy to install. I just had to select, do I want to install it alongside, replace a partition, wipe the whole disk, you know, whatever else. So you just picked a few options. It took just a few minutes to install. You can hear that it does have its noises. It likes its sound. Let me go ahead and switch over there. All right. So when you first start it up after the install, then you have this welcome screen, so you can get your documentation, release information, etc. All of this stuff is here. I found that this one just pretty much contains more documentation. I find that a lot of other startup screens from a lot of distros are a little bit more useful than this one. Like they might provide links into the system resources. It actually took me 5 minutes to find the place to update the software because it's like if they were to put a lot of those things up here, sure, I'd probably go into the documentations, into the readmes, and find all that stuff. But I find that some of the distros have these welcome screens. Some of the welcome screens are better than others for sure. Of course, the Deepin desktop environment has a control panel here. You did not just see the notification that popped up because my picture is right in the way of it, but you will get a notifications on this current setup. It's showing up there on the upper left hand of the corner. But looking over here at the control center over here, what you see is the ability to manage your accounts, displays, default applications, and what each of these do is we have a more robust location here with just a lot of information, and that's what the section does over here. Is it just takes you to that place and puts it up there. So you can see there is a lot of control information up here. We also have a place with, there's weather, and here is system notifications. So what I'm finding overall is the system is probably more comfortable for you if you are coming from like a Mac type environment. We have a launcher down here, which is very similar. It's not the same, but it is very similar. I like the sorting that it has, so internet items. So let's have a quick look at the default applications while we're here. You can't see that Firefox is right behind my picture. Let me clear out my picture there. There we are. Okay, so you can see here that we have Firefox, we have Hex Chat Transmission. Under the music, we have the Deepen music, which I have not tested the network stuff on this. We have video, so you'll see that there's just some basic video players on here. What I like about this is it does have a lot of the system utilities and tools that I'd be looking for, but it seems to have a lot of its own spins, or at least things that I have not used in the past. So here's your graphics. So we have GIMP installed, LibreOffice. There's a scanning utility, image utility, screenshot capper. Here is your Office. Of course, it just comes with the full Office suite. And then as far as system utilities, we have text editors, computers. Gpart is on here, system monitor, just a lot of different things. So let's go ahead and open some of these guys up. So right now it looks like we're using 800 megabytes of memory, 3% CPU. So it does seem like it is a very light system. That is one of the things Arch is known for. It is known for being a very light system. As the other systems here, I mean, you can work right off the desktop without a problem. Let's have a look at the wallpapers. So we get wallpapers showing up down here at the bottom. So this is actually kind of cool. It looks really nice. It is a pretty cool system. I'm just not sure, like, for me and my productivity, just how I tend to work. This probably is not an operating system that I would use on a regular basis. Mostly just because it has the Mac type feel. I did not find a way I could add a taskbar to it. So I can't quickly navigate between the applications that are open. Let's see how easy it is to open up a couple instances. So of course my panel is auto hiding. So I can open up new windows there. See if I can... Oh, there you go. There's like a sort of a task manager type view. So I can move it to different locations. Let's always keep shown. Again, what you'll see here, and the way I like to work, is I'll usually have multiple instances of things going on, and I'd like to be able to see how many instances of Firefox I have running. So I'm curious to know if I can. I mean, I need to get in and certainly dig into the desktop here a little bit more. But you can have this view here. Let's go ahead and go back to our fashion mode, I guess they call it. Email, it looks like they do give us Evolution rather than Thunderbird, I believe. So that's neat. Where was it? I thought I saw Evolution on here. Yep, so you saw Evolution over here. Adding and removing software is it's not a more like a graphical interface system. It's more like a Synaptic package manager thing. You can see this is where you'd run your updates from. Here's your repositories. There's install local packages. Let's have a look at our preferences. Okay. So you can see there's a lot of different things we can do. We do have Firefox installed on default. That's good. Let's see, we're defaulting to Yahoo search. I would need to change that to start page. As far as changing the themes, I'm assuming that you would what you would do to get in and actually install new themes is just manually install them by dropping things into your home folder. Let's see. I can figure out how to show hidden files here. There we go. Yeah, so I'm assuming we could just kind of drop some themes into here. As far as changing the themes are concerned, you can come over here into the personalization in your control panel and select your theme, and then you can pick from the different themes we have. So we have themes, we have icon packs. I'm not a huge fan of any of these icon packs. The sea is kind of neat, kind of like the underwater sea theme. This one here kind of reminds me of like Marshmallow, or at least what Samsung did on Galaxy S5. I don't really care for any of the themes that are installed default, so I'd want to download some more. Here's your window management, and then let's see if there's anything else we can do. You can change your font over here to anything else that you want in your system. So let's see, we have Firefox, we have system tray. Here's the control center again. So, I don't know, this is an interesting desktop. This is one I might kind of like to play around with a little bit, but I don't really see myself using it very much. I think if I want to dig into Manjaro a little bit more, what I would probably end up doing is installing another desktop that I'm more familiar with, like Cinnamon or KDE or maybe Mate or something, because I'd like to expand out beyond the Debian branch. Get into the Arch branch a little bit. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. I kind of wanted to have a look at this just to see if this would be a system that I could use with it, and I'm not sure. We do have a firewall. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so we do have a firewall. It's of course not enabled by default, and most firewalls are not enabled by default. I think the only one that does is Ubuntu, which kind of drives me crazy because Ubuntu server enables it by default. So that root file manager. Okay, so that's actually neat. Let me go back down and come on. Okay, so we have a root file manager there. So that's cool that we have a root file manager. We can access the files as root with that. So that's nice. So as far as the install itself on Arch with Deepin, we have a lot of utilities that make it feel like it's a full operating system, fairly light on software. You should be able to install your own packages. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's where's my software installer? Software update. I thought it was called software installer. Where'd you go, Mr. Software Installer? There we go. Add remove software. Okay. Let's see if I can find some basic packages. Okay, so I might want to install VLC. Okay, so now VLC is now installed. So that was nice and painless. Let's see if it loads. VLC, are you loading? Yeah, maybe it loads. No suitable build dialogues. Let's see. Compile. See, this is why I don't really run Arch. Let me see. Let me just go ahead and install everything that says VLC. See, these are those things you don't have to mess with quite as much. Let's see. Commit these. And I'm not even really reading the screen because, again, you know, you get into, once I get outside the Debian branches, which I'm really good at, I get into these other branches here, and I'm a little out of my element here. So just kind of wanted to play around with this a little bit, see how it looks. Okay. Hey, there we go. Now VLC works. So I had to install the other packages as well. I'm spoiled by the systems that will install the dependencies right along with it. Let's see if OBS exists. So OBS Studio exists. So I could install that. Again, I'm not sure if it installed any of the dependencies with it or not. So let's see. Looks like it might. Do you work? Hey, you work. Look at that. Okay. So OBS works right out of there. So that's nice. So as far as the system though, it's very fast. It's very snappy. Of course, this is even in a VirtualBox, and it's very fast, very snappy. It's clean. I like as far as modern systems are concerned, I like this. It's not my, it's not my forte. I mean, I like, I got this computer back here running my Mint KDE, and that type of system itself is really nice. And I like the more skeuomorphic, the more 3D, the more, those older type of systems. I really like those a lot more than the modern. As far as though this one is concerned, I mean, it's a neat modern system. I like this because it certainly is a different take on the desktop. You can work right off the desktop, which isn't a big deal for me. Well, that's what my preference would be. But I don't really care for the the Mac-like feel to it. I really don't like the Mac UI, and that's kind of what I feel like I have here. Even on my, even if I change my mode over here to this efficiency mode, it still feels like everything over here is pinned, not an easy way to launch multiple instances of things. That for me is a deal breaker, because I need to be able to pull up multiple versions of things way faster than coming down and right-clicking. I think there's a hotkey for it too. Everyone always reminds me of the hotkey or something, but that's just not what my workflow is. And as far as a computer as a tool, I want to have a system that works well with my workflow. And this one here, it doesn't really jive with my workflow. It's a nice system. I'd probably like to learn more about Manjaro, but I'd probably want to use a build that is probably want to use a build that's a little bit different than this one. So I don't know. There's my quick takes on Manjaro, on the Deepin desktop environment. Just kind of having a quick look. Not a bad system, just not my forte. I don't know. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think of Manjaro in general, and maybe Manjaro Deepin specifically, if you've ever used this before. It's about I think it's a little under 2 GB download, installed in about 10 minutes on a VirtualBox. No big deal there. So, overall, it's pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to use this to learn Manjaro, but it is a neat take on an operating system. So thanks for watching, everybody. Again, if you would like to help support what we do at Switch to Linux, then you can come to switchtolinux.com /support, and you can see all the ways to support us. As of this video, we have an Amazon account you can use. The links are below for that. And we also have a Patreon account, so you can look in the descriptions below for that. So thanks for watching, everybody, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.